Guys, welcome back to Monday Morning Trends live at Adapting Social HQ. We got Megan over here. What's up, Megan?
Good morning.
We were just talking about how it's like a weird week, obviously, where it's like, you got Monday and then Tuesday you're off, right? It's like it's almost like a tease, right? It's like you get in, you get ready, and then boom, now you have Tuesday off.
Right. It's either you took off today to just keep enjoying through Tuesday, or your mind's just going to be running tomorrow, which is, I think, probably how ours is going to be.
But anyway, guys, I hope everybody out there had a productive and awesome weekend. And by productive, I mean, hanging with the family, enjoying yourself, and getting some sun. So, and again, happy 4th of July weekend going into week. But anyway, so we're going to kick off here. First and foremost, we are going to be talking a lot about Google today. Anybody out there who is doing marketing or actively marketing, you'll see right now that the GA4 has caused a lot of controversy.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of controversy out there. So right now what we're going to talk about is the readiness of it, right? So a lot of marketers right now are giving a lot of pushback. The words that we're seeing out there is most are slouching towards the forced adoption of GA4.
Just and the word slouching towards.
Slouching, like you don't want to do it. It's like we're all being dragged to GA4. And listen, here's what a lot of people are saying so far before I go into the numbers. And this is from some pretty big marketers that are out there. An unfinished product rushed to market. Ouch. Google. It's not that the masses aren't ready for GA4. It's that GA4 aren't ready for the masses. The UI is terrible.
It is.
Oof. Ouch. And then lastly, terrible UI, terrible reporting. So ultimately, so far right now, again, Google's pushing this out and a lot of kickback is coming from it. So at this current time right now, the readiness of it is 23% of all the users have fully adopted to it so far, right? 50% are still learning, still trying to figure it out, right? And these are even seasoned people in the space. And 16% have yet to begin. So that's just something to keep in mind here. Again, big, just kickback right now. And it's understandable, right? Like when Google does a million different things that they do all the time, typically there's some, again, there's some rollout time, whatever. But this is something big, right? And this is something that I've never seen this much kickback.
No, and on Twitter, it's actually pretty funny because if you go on Twitter, marketers and web developers are actually in mourning. Like they're tweeting things like, let's give a moment of silence for Google Analytics.
Ooh,
and
RIP.
Yeah, they're missing it. And me included. I'm also missing Google Analytics already, but we'll see how GA4 adapts.
What is your thought so far on GA4?
I don't like it. I agree.
Like what don't you like about it?
The UI interface is not friendly. You know what it is? It's so different from Universal Analytics that if you're used to some of those metrics being readily available,
right,
the same metrics aren't as readily available. They're not in the same format. So like any change, it's going to take a while to get used to, but
I'm going to have to say, but RIP to Universal. And the thing is though, is that was alive for 11 years.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
11 years that's been going for. So for a lot of people, especially like us, we've been fully immersed in that. And I remember when that transition happened, because again, 15 years ago when I was starting this up and was doing Google stuff, a couple of years in, Universal, it was like this big thing. And now, bam, they switched it. But RIP, 11 years, Universal's gone. Yeah. So what you got for us in Google as well?
That's actually what I had in Google, but over in Twitter. So right before the holiday weekend, Elon Musk started tweeting that they were going to put limits on the amount of tweets that you can see as a user. So, and this was in an effort to address the extreme levels of data scraping. So obviously everybody's trying to get into AI right now and see what you can do with AI. Mm-hmm. But to do that, you need to scrape some data so that you can come up with these, the conversational data to output whatever the query is that somebody is trying to get your AI tool to use. So right now, Verified posts can view up to 10,000 posts a day. Unverified accounts can view up to 1,000 posts. New unverified accounts can view up to 500 posts. And this actually doubled. So when he first announced that they were going to limit the amount of posts that you can see, originally new unverified accounts, you could only see 300 tweets in a given day.
Wow.
And then for unverified accounts, it was 500 or 600. And after that, you wouldn't be able to see any other tweets for the day. So they're
Interesting.
saying that this is temporary, but we'll see where it goes.
Twitter's really testing the sandbox out right now.
Yeah.
They're really testing the sandbox right now. They're putting all these things in place again, like Twitter, boom, pay for verification. All of a sudden, Instagram, bam, next day, they're doing it. And the one thing that's so interesting about that, though, is that essentially what you're seeing here is that you're going to start having to pay to view content. I mean, because if you're verified, you have to pay to be verified. If you're not a celebrity. And so that means that you're only going to have a limited amount of content that you can see, which is that's tough. I mean, for people who like Twitter that much, I'm not a big Twitter guy myself. I know, Rob, you a Twitter guy? Not a Twitter guy. Most people I know are not a Twitter, person. So it's very interesting to see that like they're doing this. And I think it's going to push more people away from the platform too.
Well, it's that and the rapid change of decisions. Like I feel like every time Twitter releases something, within a few hours, what they released changed, or there's a new innovation instead of just let's figure out where the platform's going to go,
right?
And go from there. They're causing chaos.
Listen, the only way I respect it though, because the only way you figure out new things is by testing things, right?
That's
and
true.
Sometimes most companies and most people are scared to test things because they don't want to lose the user base, or they don't want to lose clients. Listen, they got I got nothing to lose mentality, and they're going to do what they're doing.
True.
And it's also shifting the industry a lot, which is great.
And they also have a huge competitor coming out in the next few months. So they're probably trying to test as much as possible before that happens.
Yeah. Great. So Elon Musk, let's go. We'll talk about Elon Musk fighting Mark Zuckerberg later. But next up, Facebook recently released how their content ranks in 2023. And so there's a lot of important golden nuggets for you guys to know out there, right? And a lot of people, for the most part, have kind of like gone away with like having hope in Facebook that like it's going to give you good content results, just based on how bad the organic reach is on it. But they're putting out 14 new system cards that are supposed to be how they're ranking, and it's good, and it's supposed to help us as the users create better content. But the feed, right now in the feed, Facebook uses AI to calculate the relevance score of 500 posts, and then ranks them in descending order. So the system is built to show a variety of different content in the feed, meaning the user shouldn't see multiple video posts in a row, right? So like they're trying to break it up. So like the AI and the algorithms, number one, now we know, again, 500 posts, right? And now in descending order, they're ranking them based on it. And they're trying to show you a mix. So now we know that, again, like most people are like just pound video content, which we've said too. I mean, we've done, but they're trying to build a mix of both. They don't want to just give you one. Secondly is feed ranked comments, right? So the AI comments in order of what it deems will be most relevant to each user. So it does by this examining factors such as how popular other comments are and whether they have been published by someone in their network. So they're looking at who you are in, friends, following, vice versa, and then seeing the level of comments, what they're commenting, and then basing the relevancy of it on that person's comment, right? And so I've seen this time and time again on Facebook as an example. Like for somebody who's very, very active on Facebook, like I'll give an example, and I feel like I always throw this guy out here, but Sal Ventry, every time my buddy Sal is out there and he posts something, or if somebody posts something and you see Sal comment on it, it always goes to the top of my feed every time he's commenting on something. So he's in my network. He's also a heavy engager and is somebody who uses these tools very often on social. So it's almost like when he's doing something, because Facebook sees how often, he is engaging, commenting, creating content, doing whatever, it almost brings, like when he comments on stuff, it almost makes it more relevant, I feel like. Definitely. So I keep seeing that. Thirdly, feed recommendation. So essentially, and this is what I really like though, but AI will determine what content users are most likely to engage with by factors such as groups they have joined. And this one was interesting. The posts they've liked, and then content they decide, post, reels, other information like that. And the one thing that I keep seeing, and this is later on, is, when I like content on Facebook, right? Like I'm starting to see new content that like I never liked the page, didn't whatever. And that's what they're saying here. So like when you like certain genres or types of content, they're going to start to display you things like that, including groups and stuff. So there's a bunch more here. We won't go through all of them, but one of the things that I think is important, right, is we'll go through video. When users view and interact with Facebook video, one of the underlying AI systems delivers a range of video types that may match their preferences. This content can be found in Video tab. It may include reels, music, gaming, or shows. The content users may be interested in from creators they may not follow also. So going back to the same thing with the images. So when you're watching videos on Facebook now, and again, they're saying this is Facebook releasing it, but I'm sure it's all Meta, right? I'm sure Instagram's going to be following shortly too. Same thing I said earlier, right? So the stuff you're watching, their goal is to keep you dialed in on the platform. So you're watching good content. Like if you stay and you watch a full video on a reel or a full video on Facebook, they're going to start showing you other contents like that. And it's funny because anybody who knows me personally knows I like to bust people's chops, right? Yeah. So Rob's like, no, he doesn't bust any chops. Guy's like Mother Teresa of not busting chops. But anyway, the point though is that like I love once in a while watching prank videos. I just like I'll watch
like how you said once in a while.
Yeah.
We all know that's what you do in your
No, seriously, once in a while. When I'm home, I would say probably like once or twice a week, I'll sit there and I'll watch a couple prank videos. And now, recently, I just keep getting prank videos, right? And I mean, listen, the ones I'm getting are classic. Have you guys ever seen the ones where the guy's like a green bush? He's like in the middle of a city and he's dressed up as a plant and he jumps out at you when you're walking by. Just the reactions are golden. But anyway, shout out to that guy dressing up as a plant and scaring the absolute you-know-what out of people. But anyway, I'm seeing more content like that. So again, when we think the reason why we're saying all this, right, is now as a business or a brand or a content creator, when you're creating content, you have to keep this stuff in mind, right? Who's going to see it? Who's going to comment on it? What's the relevancy stuff? And lastly, and I think one thing that businesses should start doing is super, super underestimated, but Marketplace is a powerful resource. Right now, what they release is when a user views and interacts with Facebook, including Facebook Marketplace feed, one of the underlying AI systems recommends relevant marketplace listings. For example, users can see it for sale in categories such as home, pet supplies, sporting goods. Users' feed may also include other recommendations such as sellers and content that they might be interested in. Now, the thing here is, and why I think this is so untapped and underutilized by businesses, is that normally Marketplace is used for something such as you want to sell, a piece of furniture, you want to sell, or you want to buy a piece of furniture, right? Like you go on there, you can buy cars, you can do pretty much everything. And I think everybody knows that now. But for other different types of businesses, I've been on there and I've seen things, for people doing business coaching, selling. Obviously, you can sell real estate on it too. But there's so many things that you can do on it. If you're a product-based business or even if you're a service-based business, you should test it. Create a listing. It's absolutely free, so it's crazy not to do it. And see what winds up coming in, right? It's like the new and way, way, way improved, and it's been the thing.
I see a lot of landscapers using Marketplace.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Heck yeah. That's how I found my landscaper.
Great idea.
But the point though is that ultimately it's a channel, right? It's like what Craigslist used to be. You go on Craigslist, whatever else, but now it's Marketplace, right? So keep that in mind, guys, for business. It's very, very helpful. And lastly, what we will talk about here is going to just be search, right? So AI awards each potential search a score relating to how relevant the content is to a user by examining factors such as the content type. It will serve users the result in order by relevancy based on the scoring, right? So there's all these different things. What's crazy? It's almost like the back of a restaurant, right? When Rob goes to a restaurant, he's only worried about drinking a beer, having a burger, right? You don't know who's in the back, what they're cooking, where'd that meat come from. We don't know any of that stuff, right? And so ultimately, this is the crazy part, is that when you're searching, there's all these different things happening that are showing you the actual search results. And the one thing I want us to be mindful of, right? And I'm in no way, shape, or form, I'm going to be very explicit here. No way, shape, or form making this about political or politics. But have you seen that video where they did a compilation of all the local news networks almost across the United
And
States.
they're all saying the same
And
thing.
every single person that is a newscaster is saying the same exact thing, right? Which means what? It's media propaganda. Now, again, not here to be political, but when you think about how Facebook and Google and all these major platforms, right, are giving us the search results we're seeking, right? Are we getting biased content, or what are we getting?
Right.
We don't know that. So the one thing I do want to just say there, obviously, when you are searching, whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook, make sure you just do a little bit of deeper research than the first ones. If you're looking for a pizza, different story.
Right.
But overall, depending upon the content you're looking for, just make sure you do some search, because again, they're scoring and rewarding based on what you are searching and the relevancy of it. Okay. We'll end with that one because that was a nice long one.
That was a good long one. Have you watched Black Mirror at all?
I have not. I don't watch TV that much.
No, Rob, have you watched Black Mirror? Oh my gosh, you two have to watch it. The episodes are incredible. It's all about innovation and future thought, but it shows
Black
you
Mirror.
where our innovation could take us. So obviously there should be limits.
It's
on
like sci-fi?
how innovative. Oh yeah, essentially.
Sci-fi.
Um,
Rob only does sports.
It's really good. It's really cool though, because something that's happening right now, I actually saw it first on Black Mirror, where there's this episode where celebrities license their bodies, their faces, their
What?
voices to brands.
Wow.
So that, let's say you're a business and I'm a celebrity.
Yep.
You could use me as an AI model for any of your campaigns. And in their episode, they have something kind of similar to Netflix, where now you can license yourself so that they can create content a little bit faster. But the no limit on that is that they can say and do whatever they want with your being, right? And it's a representation of you. It looks like you're the one actually saying and saying and being in that commercial or marketing that product. And in Black Mirror, it definitely takes a little bit of a turn. That specific episode at the end left me speechless for a few seconds. But then last week, I saw that Virgin Voyages is using the same exact model in their Gen AI campaign. So Jennifer Lopez is
J-Lo from the block.
Yeah, she's giving Virgin Voyages the ability to use her body, her face, her voice as an AI tool to invite other guests onto the cruise.
Wow. What do we gotta know what that cost? Can you look that up, Rob?
Yeah, I mean,
what did that cost?
It's a licensing deal, right? So
Right.
It has to cost a lot, especially. And then the other question that comes up is, after seeing this Black Mirror episode, how far could they go with using her as an AI tool and model? So, and how often are we going to see this, where we might be watching something on TV and a commercial comes up and it's J-Lo and we're like, oh, wow, look at her in that commercial. And it's not her at all. It's actually just an AI model. So it's going to start to...
I hate that.
Right?
Everything's
because
going
as
fake.
As a consumer, you're questioning, is what I'm seeing real or is it AI generated?
Well, what's interesting for the celebrities that makes that for them that they're probably so stoked on is that they have to do zero work, but they get paid.
Oh yeah. Right. It takes influencer campaigns to a whole new level, especially for celebrities. But it does leave the question of where could it go? It's really cool.
Right.
But we'll see.
What do we got, Rob? Anything?
How much it costs? What the brand
what is she making on that thing?
Let's see the total number.
Yeah, licensing deal. Let's see. We're trying to get to, if you're tuning in, we're trying to see
how much J-Lo, how much Virgin Voyages paid J-Lo to be.
Maybe type that in the Virgin Voyage.
Virgin. How much do you think? How much would you do it for?
She's J-Lo though. She's just bought $100 million house in California, which is why it's like
Gen AI licensing deal.
Let's see.
No, they're not saying.
Probably still wrapped up.
Yeah.
Regardless, we were just going over Jennifer Lopez is doing one of the first Gen AI deals, and that's wild. I mean, again, it takes it to a whole other level, especially when you think about what AI is doing, and even think about this, right? Like, imagine what that's going to do for movies in the future. Like, does Tom Cruise need to show up on a Mission Impossible anymore?
No.
Or can they just literally make a whole animation, because the animations these days look freaking real.
They really do.
Like some of them, like especially like when I see like water scenes and stuff, like from Disney, like even animation like that, like it looks so realistic. It's
way
bananas.
different from when we were kids watching.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
TV shows,
yeah.
right? If you see the Virgin Voyages, kind of behind the scenes of how they're creating all of this, though, they have regular people like me and you
yeah.
in this suit, and it looks like
That's
Jennifer
wild.
Lopez,
Well,
so-
I wonder if they just wear like the green. They're just like in a green.
Yeah, they're
outfit.
hooked up the same way
Yeah,
you create a video game.
That's
yeah.
wild. That's completely wild. Anyway, very interesting. All right, so next up, we got YouTube stops playing videos for people with ad blockers, right? So what the heck does that mean? So many people out there don't want to watch the YouTube ads, right? Understandable so, right? They want to just get back to their video, and especially how annoying is it when you're in the middle of a workout, or you're doing something and you're not by the remote, like, and you have to go and click skip ad,
Yeah.
because it'll keep going forever. So the people who did get around a way of that, they were doing the ad blocking, right? I remember back in the day we had somebody in Adapting Social that showed us that, and a lot of team members were using it, but Google, aka YouTube, is not about it. Right. So here's the deal, right? So right now, what we are seeing is ad block detection is not new. Obviously, they've been working on this.
Right.
And publishers regularly ask viewers to disable ad blocks, right? The one thing I do respect, though, and I will say again, it's easy when you're a consumer to be like, I don't want to watch commercials, like even TV commercials, things like that. I get it. Like nobody wants to watch them. But this is the reason why they're taking it so seriously, and I respect it for this reason. When you're doing this, when you're ad blocking, what you're essentially doing is you're taking away the content creators from actually being able to make money on their videos. So anybody out there, like I'm gonna go to Miss Rachel right now because of like me, Johnny, my son being obsessed with her, and millions and millions and millions of bazillions of kids. Her videos have like 400 million views each video. Because kids watch the same stuff over and over and over again. But Miss Rachel is an example. Like Johnny is enamored when those videos are on. Like you can't take his eyes off TV, and he's laughing, he's like talking, he's learning. But again, she's being like, if I'm using an ad blocker, she's not getting compensated for that view. Which is what they're trying to protect. Of course, they're trying to protect themselves too, right?
Right.
YouTube wants to make their money too, aka Google. But ultimately, that's their thing, right? So at the end of the day, they're taking measures, extreme measures, so that if you have an ad blocker and it detects it, you will not be able to see the video. So it'll literally just go blank.
Wow.
And again, we're an ad company, right? So a lot of YouTube ads or even like things that you see in commercial, it's in our space, right? So I respect it. I respect the integrity behind it. You want to make sure the content creators are taken care of. But if you are utilizing an ad blocker, you will not be able to see the videos anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So just keep that in mind if you are using an ad blocker for YouTube.
They are really trying to protect their channels right now, because we also have a trend where they're making changes to their impersonation policy. So, which coincidentally, last week we were talking about how on Instagram now you can download videos and repurpose them, and ways to protect your content.
Right.
And you had mentioned on YouTube, you see that a lot, where people are repurposing videos, and it doesn't even have to be their content. So YouTube's ears must have been ringing, or they caught on to this earlier than we did, because they are now making changes to where you are not able to repurpose content. If they find that you are just going and downloading other people's content and you're not a fan page or a page authorized to repurpose that amount of content, or you're doing it to grow monetarily, they're going to suspend your channel. So you don't want to be in that position. So there should be a balance between your own content and content that you may be repurposing. And if you see a video that you really like and maybe want to distribute onto your channel, you can dual screen with it. You can remix the content, make it your own, but just try not to just grab and post on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, definitely be careful. And again, a lot of content creators, or I guess we'll say content stealers, would do that, grab some content that's already done, right? So let's just say, again, Miss Rachel has a YouTube video, goes on there, grabs Miss Rachel's content, grabs a couple different clips, starts using it. People were making money off doing that, because they'd have the views, and people type in Miss Rachel, that person's popping up. That page that's not Miss Rachel's popping up. So not that I think most people that are watching this would be doing that, but just keep in mind, because again, it's something that, like, again, you can get flagged for if you are doing it.
Definitely.
Is that all
That's
she
it.
wrote? That's
That's
all
all
she
of
wrote.
them
Robbie
today.
Robbie Slabs. That's all she wrote. Guys, happy Monday. Let's just go through our content, our topics one more time. So if you're just tuning in right now, happy Monday. I hope you are absolutely ready to crush your week. I know it's an odd week. We have Tuesday off, so if you're just getting your Monday kicked off today, and then you're going to take a pause and dive back in on Wednesday, right there with you. But the topics we cover today are GA4, the readiness of it, the kickback of it, and what everybody thinks: the good, the bad, the ugly. Secondly, how Facebook is ranking content in 2023. Thirdly, YouTube stops playing videos for people with ad blockers. And then Megan, what you got?
And then we had Twitter limiting the amount of content that you can see on the platform. Brands using celebrity-backed AI to elevate their marketing. And YouTube's impersonation policy changes.
Bam. Guys, again, happy Monday. Megan, you have a nice little positive quote you want to hit us with while we're live?
Do I have a positive quote? This isn't a quote, but I was thinking about this. It is
kickoff.
4th of July coming
Yes.
up, and we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, so we support, they're out there working toward the American dream.
Yes,
and that's something that I've been reflecting a lot on this past weekend and just today, is how many entrepreneurs who are living that American dream that we get to be a part of, and that's something so special to us. I
love that. And the one thing, that's awesome. The one thing that we always say here, we got this away from our conference, was that, at Adapting Social, we're not just serving these businesses, right? We're serving their communities, their employees, their families. We're helping them build their brand and grow, which ultimately, like, who are we reaching? So I love that. The American dream, and that's amazing, Megan. So solid. Love that. Everybody, I hope you have an amazing 4th of July. It's weird not to say weekend, right? But have amazing. I mean, this was the 4th of July weekend, but have amazing 4th of July day tomorrow. I hope you have amazing food, amazing barbecue, and then get ready to get after it on Wednesday, guys. Happy Monday. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And if you like, or know a business owner that you want to share, that's our goal here, right? We want to help business owners, brands, creators, get all the information and all the trends that are out there before it's too late. You got to be ahead of it, right? So happy Monday, guys. Happy 4th. Thank you for tuning in.